Coming to you, Professor Antwi, and just asking you the question in a different way, that a lot of people feel that students are taught theories more than practicals. So you're with the public university, the UPSA. How do you ensure that whatever it is that your lecturers are giving the students, this information prepares them for the job market and eventually for the development of Ghana?
So at UPSA, we have what we call the master class. So in our master class, each lecturer is required to bring an industry player. So if I'm teaching you principles of accounting, for example, I will bring an accountant from Media General to give him a slot or two of my lecture periods to work with my students, how it is done at the workplace. So we try to blend the theory with practice. So whichever course you teach at UPSA, there's a portion for the master class where you bring an industry player into your classroom and say, look, yes, this is what your teacher is teaching you, but at the marketplace, this is how we do it. If you do it this way, it doesn't work. We tried it this way. So together with the industry player, working with the lecturer, the students will get a feel of how this is done at the workplace. And then we put the students into groups. Then the industry player that has come will give them some tasks, practically to do it and bring a report for him to or for her to look at how they have imbibed the practice of it apart from the theory that has been taught. This is part of the reasons why UPSA students are sought after in the marketplace. Because if you get somebody with a first degree accounting from UPSA now, the person can do a lot of things immediately in the work environment than probably somebody who has learned theory, and then you give me a simple thing, calculate my VAT for me. We'll come back to you and say, sir, please, how do we do it? The employer is so interested in that. Employer is looking for a graduate. That's why he has employed, he's going to pay you anyway. So he's looking at how you can apply your knowledge at the workplace for him to get value for his money that is going to pay you. So this is how we do it.
Mr. Wa made a point about lecturers giving notes to students and expecting that they give them the same. So it leaves no room for innovation, for creative thinking. This is what he gave me, I must reproduce that or I fail. How do we ensure that we're able to do away with it so people are able to think more critically? Well, I mean, beyond, I'm talking about not just at UPSA and Ashasi, but at all the institutions, the higher education institutions we have, the universities, both private and public.
So first, faculty at this point should know that university education is not about chew, pour, and forget. No. We are training a professional to go out there and add value in his area or her area of specialization. It is not about coming some old theories, 1623 theories. No. So first, the faculty should be able to put the students into teams. The students should work in teams. So we are trying to see how we can do away with just the theory aspect of it. And then say, okay, this is a case study. 3 or 4 people in a team go and work and get a solution in this case study and come. Then they're going to do a presentation of how they think that case study will be solved. In that presentation, you bring an industry person to sit and grade your students. So what we are going to do is that the faculty will teach the basics in terms of the theory. They will give you a case study to work on. Then there's an industry person who will evaluate what we are doing. Whether when we get to the workplace, what we are learning here in this classroom will be relevant to this industry people. So together, For us, we work a lot with industry players.
So there are people who would say that, yes, I'm learning what I think is practical enough, irrespective of where I am. But you still have a lot of students struggling to find jobs, even after years, spending so many years at the universities. Why do we have that problem?
So baseline, I talked about national policy. I was discussing with Mr. Wua before the start of the program that if you check the number of people who enter into STEM programs in our universities, the rate is coming down. If you look at numbers in social sciences, arts, and business, numbers are going up. Now, it's about demand and supply. If you look at opportunities to be employed, reading, arts, social sciences, business, etc., and related programs, the opportunities are becoming smaller because we've trained too many of them. But the point is that the Ghanaian also want to do it because they believe that if I do, for example, accounting, or I do some law, or I do some other social science program, I will easily get a job. So supply is a lot. Look at the thousands of business students we churn out. We are holding graduation this month, end of this month, and the graduation list is about 7,000 students, only from UPSA. Majority of them are business, social science related programs. Look at the number of universities that we have. So the point is that, and probably it's a cultural thing. A lot of parents feel that if their children do arts, social science, business, they can easily secure a job. But the jobs are now moving into STEM programs, engineering.
Because I'm looking at the top 5 jobs, for instance, needed in Ghana, and you have technology and IT, data scientists, cybersecurity, you have healthcare, example, doctors, nurses, physician assistant, you have engineering that you just mentioned, especially civil, electrical, mechanical, renewable energy. Of course, there's finance and accounting as well as education.
Great. So whether the data is not feeding into decision making, I don't know. So whilst we have the traditional mind of that, oh, if I become a lawyer, if I become an accountant, if I become a marketer, if I become an HR person, I will easily get a job. Meanwhile, the market had moved, and where the jobs are is into engineering, health, this, etc.
But is that not why our universities are supposed to look at what's trending in the market and design courses to meet the need?
Now, let me tell you what the problem is. In STEM programs, you need to set up labs, you need to get consumables, huge cost layouts, and continuous investment to train one STEM student and to bring one STEM student out. We're having a chat and we say, look, to train one business student or a social science student or an art student, you need a classroom and one projector. You are done. You are ready to go. So it's important we look at investment in these areas. If, as a manager of a university, the money is not there for me to invest into labs, into consumables, etc., to train a STEM student. Meanwhile, the difference in school fees is not much. If I can easily get in a business, art, social science student, they pay the fees. I don't need to look for money a lot to set up labs. I'll continue to look at those places. But you see, what the country needs is these cybersecurity, engineering, health sector, all those things you have mentioned. This is where policy now comes to drive it. And the policy comes through the Ministry of Education, through our regulators, etc., to say, look, in this year's intake, can we look at how we can increase enrollment in STEM areas and reduce enrollment in these areas where those aspects of the economy is becoming choked? So somebody may go and do a combination, religions, classical history, and another thing. And these students, after 4 years of going through school, parents paying school fees, for the next 3-4 years, is roaming the streets of Accra looking for a job. And normally, he's looking for people to help. He'll say, oh, what did you do? So this is the combination I did. Then the next question is, what can you do in this organization?
So we should be scrapping such courses.
Well, it's not as simple as that.